Good morning, everyone. It is truly wonderful to be with you all again. We offer a special welcome for our group from San Diego, and we thank you on the medium's behalf for letting him know when he was having fun. We tried to tell him, but he takes it seriously and thinks we're trying to deliver another meaningful message. So you see, every light worker has a function. Last week we talked about the energies of 2016, how massively and profoundly transitional they will be on pretty much every level. Much will begin to become apparent in the world around you, but especially within you. And the initial phase, the initial wave of these massively transformational energies are taking place this month. On March 9th, there will be a new moon and your spring equinox. By yours, we mean the northern hemispheres. And about a week later, on the, wait a minute. That's not correct. The spring equinox is on the 20th, and on the 9th is a total solar eclipse and a new moon. And then on the 23rd, there is a full moon and a lunar eclipse. We discussed last week how the energies of these are combining. And we discussed how a major aspect of these new and higher energies will be to jar loose, to cause to come to the surface many of the remaining lower vibrational energies in your consciousness of all types, belief systems, old traumas, fears, anxieties, old karma from past lives you have forgotten all about. The reason we focus so much on release and on moving through these things as they arise and viewing them as blessings is because it's absolutely key, especially at this point, to your whole process of ascension. A human being, any vessel, reaches a point where it is incapable of receiving and assimilating the highest ascension energies and thereby undergoing all of the many changes we've been talking about for so long at every level within you that will allow you to ascend, allow you to rise to higher awareness, higher consciousness. And as you've discovered, it can be a rather long process. As energy, lower vibration is cleared, that paves the way, clears the way for new, even higher energies to come in and help you do the same thing again. So you can pretty much be assured that any difficulty you experience in the coming year, especially in March, will be this kind of effect, this kind of energy, lower vibration coming up to be addressed. Now, when we say it's coming up to be addressed, we don't mean you need to pay any special attention to it. It does not need to be processed or understood. It simply needs to be released and moved through. So we would strongly suggest that as these things occur, and they, as we said, they can look like almost anything. An old physical ailment you thought was out of the way could come back. And this can be different for everybody, obviously. Nausea, headaches, tremors, and shaking in your solar plexus, anxiety that seems out of place and makes no sense whatsoever. Fear, the same. Judgment, reaction, belief systems. Whatever it is that comes up, whatever it is you run into that you're experiencing, you can count on the fact that it's something arising to be released. So we have some advice to offer in this regard. Our suggestion is that you not focus on what you're going through. You not focus on the symptoms of your rising vibration and your ascension, but you focus on the reason for them. And of course the reason is that room is being made for ever higher and higher frequencies that will lead to higher consciousness, higher awareness, and eventually ascension. And know that each time you move through these things, with every single one, it all gets easier. Your vibration is higher. The decision you make to let go of this, whatever it is, to focus on the joy and the actuality of your ascension process, each time you consciously make that decision, you create even more power within yourself to do the same thing again and again and again. Focus is very important here. Awareness, being in the present moment. So please pay attention. When old stuff comes up, it's your choice whether to have it remain old stuff or have it be gone. This process, dear ones, is meant to be one of joy and healing and freedom. So be grateful. Of course, that's your choice. You don't have to be grateful. And sometimes it's hard when you have a raging headache or you're so full of energy at night you can't sleep at all, and then when the day comes, you're exhausted. And all the other many things that you'll be going through, all it is energy. Please remember, it's only energy. It's energy from your karma, from your consciousness. It has no importance, impact, or effect until you react to it and think of it and treat it as if it is real, and at that point, of course, you have once again made it real. It is truly not complicated to do this. It's not complicated to live in the now and to just let go and center in your higher vibration and be joyful. What's difficult, as you'll remember, is living in the third dimension. It's been a rather difficult path, has it not, being in the third dimension? So take the easy way. The easier, softer, happier, more joyful way. And be in the moment, and be aware, and be awake. Things are soon reaching a point, for those of you who will engage in this process, especially those of you who will engage in it with joy, you are approaching the point to where it's all much easier. Being in joy, being in a state of unconditional love, will begin to be natural. So that is our message for today. We're keeping it short because we would like you to really hear this in its simplicity. We have said many times, okay, this is the time to release. This is the time to let it all go. And those, of course, have been very true and accurate statements. And the times you have done that have laid the groundwork for now. For March, for 2016. And when we say live in the now, be aware, be awake, also pay attention to the progress you've made. Look at where you were a year ago. And at the end of March, look at where you were at the beginning of March. See if you can't feel a difference. See if you can't feel a freedom and a lightness that wasn't there before. And remember, please always remember that we are always with you. Please call on us for everything. For everything. We are there for you and only you. The ascending beings of Earth. Use this to help you release and to move through. Ask us to co-create with you joy and lightness of being. Ask us to co-create with you the understanding that there are no big deals. Truly. There's nothing worth worrying about. Everything you're faced with can be turned over, released, moved through. Another benefit, by the way, of not focusing on what you're going through, but rather focusing on the reason for it, in other words, your ascension, is that you will move through whatever's coming up much faster. Think about this, cause and effect, energy. If your focus is on your knee acting up again, or your stomach ache, or the night you're completing where there hasn't been any sleep at all. The more you focus on that and pay attention to it, the longer it will take to move through it. Now, we're not saying to suppress it, of course, you know this. We're not saying to pretend it isn't there. We're suggesting that you can even state this to yourself. I accept this. I welcome this. Thank you, God, for giving me this now to just let go of and move through. And then focus on your divine nature and having the intent of being in joy and being with us, your highest guides and ascended masters and the divine. So you see, it's easy. Just be present, be aware, be awake, be joyful, and the rest will just happen. We thank you from the bottom of our hearts for being who you are, and we will take a few minutes and take questions, if anyone has questions. No questions? Very well. We thank you again for being the divine that you are. So I think that's the first time there's never been any questions. Now you're thinking of questions, right? Like,